reflecting on my experiences at Howard University. It started when I came home from the service. I enrolled at Los Angeles Southwest College, and once on campus, I wanted to get involved in some of the student activities. I met this brother, Rene Childress, who was the editor of the he was the editor of the Explorer. The Explorer was the student newspaper on Los Angeles Southwest College's campus. And so I told him I wanted to get involved with the paper. He asked me what did I bring to the table, what skills, what talents did I have. I said, well, I can draw. So he immediately made me the editorial cartoonist for the Explorer. The assignments that he gave me were in alignment with the editorials that he was writing in the publication. A lot of it had to do with what was going on in the community. A lot of it had to do with drawing a policeman that looked like a pig in uniform, in a police uniform. So I had a lot of fun with that, but the reality was Rene taught me a lot about the newspaper business at the student level. We had a friend, Earl Ofari Hutchinson, who at the time was writing a political newsletter, and he had just written a couple of books. Earl and Rene and I would go play basketball every Saturday morning over in Inglewood, and at those games we would talk about what was going on politically in America, what was going on in Black America, and what's going on Southwest College's campuses. And so Rene and I had decided that we would run for student body president and vice president to impact real change on campus. And we did, and we won the election. So that was my first experience in student government. Now, upon graduating from Southwest College, a few people took interest in me, thought I would make a good candidate to transfer to Howard University. And so I followed their guidance, and that's exactly what I did. I transferred to Howard University. Now, what I forgot to mention was Rene was in the Black Panther Party, and so he was my introduction to Black nationalism and community programs with the Black Panther Party. So when I transferred to Howard, when I got on campus, I had a bundle of Black Panther Party newspapers under my arm that I was selling on campus. And that was my way of seeing where other students' heads was at and meeting other students. So that led me to having an almost daily conversation with Howard Newell and Danny Everett. They were members of the All African People's Revolutionary Party, and daily we debated the values of Black nationalism versus Pan-Africanism. When I got to Howard, I was working at the Veterans Student Affairs Office in the A building. And there I worked with Walter Woods and Jack Chambers. Well, Walter was on the debate team, and he was a member of an organization called Ubiquity. I later joined Ubiquity, and I worked regularly with the brothers on the debate team. So through Walter, I met John Davis, who was a national high school debate champion, Bob Walters, and Aziz Ahmed. Through Jack, I met Marlon Jackson. So we put together a little crew, and we decided that we would run for student government. I think the first one out the gate was John Davis. He ran for student body president. And an article came out in the Hilltop that kind of put a bad light on John. So he lost that election. So we kind of regrouped. The following year, we decided we were going to run for Houston, student body president and vice president. So we put a ticket together with Walter Woods and Aziz Ahmed. John Davis ran the campaign. I was his assistant at that time, and we won that election. We made a grassroots effort on campus, and we used one of the principles of the Nguzo Saba, or Kwanzaa, which was Ujima, collective work and responsibility, and we ran a campaign based on that. In addition to us running for Houston, we had put together an allegiance of other student leaders that ran for presidents of their particular school student body association. So we had a whole legislative body that we had elected in the office for the upcoming school year. But at the same time, we had an ongoing battle with the Hilltop. At the time, Joe Perkins was the managing editor, and Isabel Wilkins was the editor of the paper. And so There was an ongoing battle with us because we controlled their budget. We took over all the student activity fees, and everybody had to come to us with a proposal if they wanted to access student body funds. So as a result of this ongoing war with the Hilltop, we had to publish our own publication, our house organ, to keep the students informed. So we put together what was called the Ujima Gazette newsletter, which eventually grew into a 24-page newspaper called the Ujima Gazette. And we debuted that newspaper at the communications conference on campus, which invites all the communications and mass communications and journalism students at Howard University for a couple of days of meeting and convening on the subject of blacks in communication. So it was a wonderful experience when I walked into the Blackburn Center at the beginning of the conference and saw all the students from other campuses reading the Ujima Gazette, which we had stuffed inside of the Hilltop and circulated the morning of that event.